Hey there, my name's Cal, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how to use the Text Blocks widget for BigCommerce. This is a third-party widget that you can add to your store using the Epic Page Builder Widgets app available in the BigCommerce App Store right now. Now, once you get it installed and you get all of your widgets added to your store in the configuration tab of the app, then you can come into the customizer and see all of your new custom widgets. The one we're looking for in this video is called Text Blocks. And so we can just drag this into your theme right in here. And you can see that it just basically says insert text here when you first get it installed. There's a panel over here that is an array type panel is what they call it. So it's got a couple of things open. This item here says text blocks, and then we have block one. And so what we do is we're automatically in block one by default, and we can come in here and say, okay, here is the text for this block, right? And this is a HTML field, so you can put whatever HTML in here that you want. So if you want to say href equals, then you can see that that changes it to be well, it's hard to see when I highlight it, but it changes it to be a link, and this would go to whatever. You don't have to put any kind of complex HTML in here. You can just say, here's the text for whatever. And underneath this, we have controls where we can change this from a paragraph font or paragraph element to a heading element. And this is really big. The default text widget for BigCommerce doesn't let you control the element type. So if you wanted to put text on the page as an H2 or an H3 for better SEO, then you need our text block widget to do that. So we can come in here, and I'm just going to leave this as paragraph for the moment. Actually, let's just go ahead and make it a heading too. Right, and you can see that it automatically jumped up in size, and that's because it's pulling whatever the default styling is for an H2 element for your theme. Now this says text style here. We can change this to be custom, and it exposes some additional controls where we could override the theme default. You're usually not going to want to do that, but we can say, like, let's not make it bold, for example, or let's make it extra bold. We can change the font size, really make it really, really big. Maybe we don't want to do that. And we can change the font color really easily too. We can change the alignment to make it center, right aligned. There are times when there's some conflicts with this in your theme. That's because your theme's trying to override it. So you may have to do some CSS if you don't see this working right on your theme, and that would be theme dependent basically. All right, I'm going to turn this off and just go with the default heading 2. And there's additional tabs down here for spacing, and you can see that there's a little bit of default margin here. There's padding as well. There is background color. So let's add a little bit of a background color to this block. This is where padding comes in handy because maybe you want to add a little bit of padding just like that to kind of center it. That looks pretty cool. And there's also a border down here. So if you wanted to add a solid border that was red, nope, let's make it white actually and give it a little bit of thickness and say that that's 4 pixels, right? Now what you can do is you can create more blocks. So in the default text widget that's put out by BigCommerce, you have to have a block every time you want like another paragraph, for example. In this widget, because this is an array type widget, we can come in here and actually add more blocks, right? And we can add unstyled blocks, or we can duplicate an existing block to make it, to basically replicate what we've done. So this is where it's kind of cool to play around with some of the spacing. I'm going to get rid of this margin to kind of snug these up a little bit. And I'm going to make this background a little bit less annoying and go with a really light gray, just like that. And so I'm going to actually come back here and delete this second block and then reduplicate the first block. So now we have 2 blocks that are styled exactly the same. Actually, let me edit this, and I'm going to turn this back into a paragraph font, just like that, but I'm going to put a little bit more into it, just like that. So now when I delete it, or when I duplicate it, look at that. Now let's say, this is what we wanted to do, even though it looks a little crazy, and let's say we wanted to have a heading put in here. We can actually create a new block, drag it up to the top, and say, here's some stuff. And then make that your H2, right? So it doesn't have to look crazy like this with all the backgrounds and whatnot. If you want to click into one of these and remove them, you can easily do that. And you can see there's just a ton of stuff that you can do with the text blocks. It's really nice that you can have multiple text blocks and that you can copy the blocks to copy the styling. There's so much that you can do. This is the Text Blocks widget available in Epic Page Builder Widgets. Thanks.